Hey everyone, welcome to the Reality Wind Down, a podcast where we break down all the latest Bravo TV drama and the biggest pop culture moments of the week, one glass of wine at a time. I'm Chase.
I'm Cassidy.
Pour yourself a glass of wine and let's get into some reality TV. How are you this week?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually really settling into this keto lifestyle,
Keto
I feel
diet.
like.
I think we've officially found all of the junk foods that we loved before in a keto version. So we're doing okay. We found some sweets.
Yes.
We found some cookies, and I think I found a good chip substitute.
And
so
a
we're doing
cereal.
all right.
Like, I don't even
I
like
need to try
cereal,
that.
but now that I can't have cereal, I was like, you know what? I'll find a cereal.
All of a sudden we want cereal, even though we
Yeah.
never ate cereal before, just because it's something you couldn't have.
I'm proud of us.
I mean, I have no money left in my bank account because they're all
No.
very expensive alternatives, but we have done pretty well.
I'm happy you're buying and I'm trying.
There
this
we
is
go.
great.
There we go.
But I'm happy we're on this journey. Going forward, we're doing it. I'm proud.
Speaking of being happy to be on this journey and move forward, did you see the New Jersey trailer? Not relevant at
I
all,
did.
but I just want to talk about it.
No, but
so
we're
bad.
moving forward into another Housewives franchise.
Yes, exactly. A new season of New Jersey. What are your thoughts?
Incredible. I mean, it was a strong trailer. There's so much going on in the trailer that I'm truly excited to see what's going to happen.
What was your favorite part of the trailer?
Mine was kind of a small one. So it was actually when, when they were alluding to Jennifer maybe having a drinking problem.
Right.
And then she's like, I think they're at a pool party and she kind of just slowly like falls forward and falls over and just face plants.
She's
I was
absolutely
just
hammered.
like, what the hell is happening here?
I also thought of the part when she said, I dropped my pigs in a blanket, because I know that you are the king of making a pigs in a blanket. I mean, I tried to replicate it. Yours are the best still.
If you come to
And that
my
made me
house
laugh.
for a party back in the day, was there a pig in a blanket? Guaranteed, yes.
Every
was
damn
there
time.
a plate of pigs in a blanket? Yes. Was a tray? Yes.
Were there 1,000 pigs in a blanket? Yes.
Yes.
Did we eat all of them? Yes. Speaking of Jennifer's part, that was your favorite. My favorite part of the trailer was, I mean, I hate saying favorite because it's so dark, but I think that we always thought that how could Teresa and Joe Joe Gorga not kind of blame Joe Giudice for their mother's passing, like
Yes.
untimely passing.
And we truly have talked about that
a bunch
for
of times.
years. Like
Yeah.
how we think that is kind of a weird riff in the family that never was brought up.
For sure. Like, it's never been talked about, but like you say, we've talked about it. But at the end of this trailer, we see Joe Gorga. I think Teresa is kind of defending Joe Giudice after he'd been spreading a bunch of lies about Joe Gorga and Melissa. And he says, what exactly did he say?
In so many words, he said, Joe Giudice put our mom in an early grave.
And I think that is totally true. And also, there was an entire year that Teresa spent away from her because when she got back, she died.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Joe Giudice's dad died during this time period, too. So I think they were put under so much stress by all of the stuff that they were going through that it kind of almost probably caused all these health problems for her mom.
I mean,
and
the
his dad.
stress alone,
Yeah.
I feel like, and they were such a tight family, like seeing their daughter go through something so traumatic. And it's like, I don't know how you couldn't hold that resentment and anger and just immediately, on top of everything else, mind
Yeah.
you. Like, that is just one of the dominoes in
Well,
the thing.
I also
but
think that it's
I thought that
quite-
was insane.
It's quite like, it's one of those things that's pretty divisive because I think some people think, oh, Teresa was just as guilty as Joe. She should have gone to prison. And there's the other side that thinks, well, I think Joe did most of the behind the scenes stuff. Teresa signed a few papers and didn't know what was going on. I'm more of that mindset. Like,
I am
I don't
too,
think that
actually.
Teresa knew a lot of what was going on.
No.
And I don't think Joe Giudice really knew the depths of what he was doing. Like, I think that he knew he was committing crimes and he knew he was taking money. But he never knew that he was going to get deported and it was going to lead to all of this. Because he would not. I would hope that you would not.
Yeah, but a crime's a crime, you know?
100%. But I do think they were made more of an example of because they were on
Oh,
television.
for sure. But also, why would you go on TV when you're doing shady shit? On a funnier note, Bronwyn.
I mean, did you guys see, I don't know if y'all saw, but on Watch What Happens Live right after the finale on Wednesday night, Bronwyn went on with Paula Abdul.
What a pairing.
What a pairing. And I loved it too because in the commercial, Andy was like, Paula, describe what you thought about the OC finale so far. And it was like with like 7 minutes left teasing the intro and to watch what happens live. And Paula was like, incredible. With like the straightest face. I was like, she either said amazing or incredible, but I was like, girl, you were not convincing.
I don't feel like she even watched it.
I was like, Paula, you are not convincing anyone. Bronwyn went on and Andy asked her about the paparazzi. What about those paparazzi photos that were taken of you?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, the paparazzi just follow me everywhere. They even just followed me to a sex shop. Like, it was because Kelly Dodd, like, went by my house one time, and I guess it tipped them off as to where I live.
She said Kelly Dodd doxed her address.
What does that mean?
That means, like, you put private information of somebody on the internet.
Also, like, all you'd have to do is drive around, like, Newport and find the one minivan that has 17 children on the back, and you can easily find Bronwyn's house.
And they show the front of that house 25 times per episode.
All the time. Like, if you really wanted to, which I don't care enough to do that to anyone in the world, but if you really wanted to, you could have. And someone commented on our Instagram and made a really good point on this, because I posted it and said, who believes that the paparazzi are actually following her around? He commented and said, I think that she tips them off, which is fine if you want to like create your own narrative and have them follow you to the places you want to follow you, but just own it. Like, nobody cares if you want the paparazzi to follow you. Just own the fact that
But it goes against like the entire thing of like paparazzi. It's like paparazzi signifies that you're somebody. I think I say this too much, and I imagine people are tired of hearing it, but I don't like Bronwyn. There's nothing authentic about her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she brings anything to the show that is truthful, to be honest. Wow. Most of it.
You think she like puts it too much on for the camera?
Yeah.
After she answered the question about the paparazzi, it like panned back to Andy and Paula's face, and they both were just sitting there like, we totally don't believe that story at all.
Imagine Paula Abdul being like, this girl's telling me that paparazzi follows her ass around Newport Beach.
Paula's
She's like, I don't believe that for a goddamn second.
Down. But they did ask her the other question. What did you mean when you said that Sean, you'd be devastated if Sean moved on with someone else? She's like, no, I expect him to date and I'm fine with him dating. But of course, I'm going to be devastated if he falls in love with someone else because we've been together for 25 years or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I guess she kind of tried to clear that up because she was getting so much backlash on that. Like, how are you going to say Sean can't move on? She's saying he can go on dates and stuff, but obviously I'm going to be somewhat heartbroken.
Last thing I'll say about it, you can't be dating someone and flaunting your dating life and say you're heartbroken if your husband goes on a date with another woman.
Well, she didn't say she would be heartbroken if he went on a date. She said she's fine if he goes on dates, but she'll be heartbroken when he finally moves on. I think like maybe moves in with someone.
She's in a relationship with another person. I'm tired of talking about her. I just can't stop at the same time because I don't like when someone gets all the attention for being fake. It's annoying to me.
On that note, Sex and the City is officially coming back.
Now, that's something I can get behind. I'm excited about.
I'm trying to give the passionate voice right now and also be very excited. I have never really watched. Okay, that's a lie.
It's like, be your authentic self.
I have watched the movie when they went to Abu Dhabi.
The worst one, yes.
Okay, and I love that. I think it's just because the fashions and everything.
But
and,
it's a very problematic movie.
Why?
It's because it's like
I saw it in theater,
making fun of the culture and stuff. Yeah.
I saw it in theater 10 years ago, and I'd never seen a Sex and the City, and I went in and I was just like, oh, pretty colors. Abu Dhabi looks beautiful. I didn't know any of the characters. Like, Samantha is a character. Mm-hmm. Carrie Bradshaw's obviously a character. Yeah. I can't name you the other two.
Miranda.
And
Charlotte.
Yeah, I was like, you really couldn't. Right. You've been so excited for this for weeks.
I was like blank for a second.
But I think I kind of know the personalities of the characters. So I think we should both do this. If you could cast your all-star housewife dream cast of the 4 main ladies, who would you cast?
I would start, I think, with an easy one. Sonia as Samantha.
Okay, same. So we're the same on that.
If Sonia wasn't available for casting.
Because Sonia is very busy running a townhome and 72 interns.
Yeah, she's busy.
I guess she is still running the townhome technically, even though she's not living there.
Luann would be my second choice to fill in there.
I think
she's a little bit more toned down, but still that sexual woman.
Oh, she's very sexual.
Yeah, but it's more low key than I would say Sonia is.
Okay.
I think for Charlotte, I would do Stephanie Holman from.
What's Charlotte's personality?
She's very prim, proper. Wants to be
prim and proper.
Yeah, very Upper East Side, very fancy.
So Heather,
classy,
Heather Dubrow.
Oh yeah, I think actually that could work. Her? Yeah.
Okay.
The reason I say Stephanie is because she's kind of quiet and sweet.
Yeah.
Even though she's a lot more vocal than Charlotte would be, because Stephanie likes to talk
Well,
about...
Heather Dubrow is also very vocal. Let's call that
true.
what it is.
That's true. And then Miranda...
Give me Miranda's personality traits.
She's a lawyer, more of a badass, more of like the girl that's like coming in, gonna take over a man's world kind
Dr.
of personality.
Wendy?
Oh!
Maybe?
There you go. I would even go as far as to say maybe some Phaedra Parks as a Miranda.
I'll do anything to get Phaedra Parks back on my screen.
I know. Phaedra Parks.
Please.
Lawyer. She's the Esquire. So,
she is the mortician, the lawyer, the all of the above.
The one I do have trouble placing is Carrie. Because Carrie is such a specific character. I don't really know who can embody that. Like,
other than like, okay, because obviously I only think about her being like the writer, so I always think like Carol Radziwill. But what else?
Cassie, you're just placing them right. Like,
I'm like, I swear I haven't seen it. I'm not a liar.
I like that because Carrie, the reason I say she's hard to place is because she's the one that's kind of like embodies all the personalities.
Okay.
So it's like you have to have a woman that encompasses it all.
Yeah.
I think Carol, because also Carrie embodies New York, and so does Carol.
That's perfect.
So that's our cast, I think.
That is our dream cast. Is it time?
I mean, there's a lot of interchangeable people in there.
I mean, I think that was good, though. I think that was a good lineup. So bravo, cast it. Please give us a reality version. Should we move on to our game? My favorite part of the week.
How could we forget a game?
So our game this week is Guess the One Season Wonder Housewife tagline.
This is going to be so hard.
This is going to be kind of hard. I feel like a few should be easy. There's probably going to be some real doozies in there that are going to be difficult. Because this might be kind of difficult since there are one season wonders, we are going to go a la Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and give 3 lifelines. So the lifelines are a franchise hint. You get to ask what franchise they're from. You get to hear the tagline, so you'll actually hear the wife's voice. And you can get the initials of the housewife.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So let's go.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I came home to Dallas to shine my light, not to fight. You have to know. This one's not too bad.
I came home to Dallas to shine my light, not to fight. Is it Tiffany Hendra?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one right when I read it, I was like, yeah.
Okay.
Remember her.
Faith, family, and career. Those are the facts of my life.
Oh, shit. I know she's on Atlanta. I don't fucking know her name, though.
Ooh.
She was a producer. She made Cynthia
Bailey
sunglasses line.
Eyeglasses.
I love that, but I don't know her name. I guess. What are her initials?
KF.
Oh, God. I love how that doesn't help me at all.
I love that.
It's funny because I know exactly who she is and who I'm thinking of.
Is it coming?
Oh, Kim Fields.
Yes, he does know.
Sorry,
okay.
It just took me a second.
Good job.
I hate that I used it, but
that
whatever.
Was good.
It worked.
That was good. So, all right, you do not have the initials anymore. You have 2 lifelines.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Standing out is much more fun than fitting in.
Standing out is much more fun than fitting in. Is it... I have a guess. I think I know. Is it Lizzie Rozovic?
How the... Did you know that?
I don't know.
Yes, you're right.
I'm pretty sure that was it. Okay. You're not seeing double, you're seeing trouble.
Is this an actual twin?
Yeah.
It's the twins from New Jersey.
Yeah.
But I don't know their names.
Oh.
They were like the worst. They did dress up as like firefighters and stuff for a Halloween party.
No,
I don't know.
They did a first responders party.
Yeah, very interesting. I don't know though.
Do you want a hint?
No, I don't want to waste a hint.
Nicole Napolitano and Teresa Aprea.
Yeah.
Teresa. That was it, right? Remember, it wasn't Teresa, it was Teresa.
Yeah, I was definitely not going to get that, so I'm happy I didn't use it.
Fair enough.
Okay, your third tagline. Don't hate the game, marry a player.
Katherine Edwards?
Yes! Oh my god. I hate this so much.
For a bit of background, I love a tagline. Chase does not care about the taglines that much.
And I think that's why I knew going into this game that I wasn't going to do great.
Because
I think you even talked about it a couple episodes ago. You're like, Chase, you literally just said you love taglines and couldn't recite a single one.
It was on Dallas. I was like, wait, which one is your favorite if you love a tagline? You're like, tagline? What's that? Okay, are you ready? I always knew I was destined for greatness. This is hard, so I will give you credit.
I have to use, I guess, franchise.
It is Atlanta.
On Atlanta, a one season wonder.
I always knew I was destined for greatness. If you get this, I will be very surprised because I think it's difficult.
I don't know.
Deshaun Snow.
Oh my god!
That's hard.
The
though.
$1 million charity event, Deshaun?
Yes.
Oh, I loved her house, and she had like 10 cars, and I think she actually got divorced and lost it all.
She did. She got divorced like right after the season.
Yeah, so I guess that's why she didn't come on a second.
Her and the other girl that was on the first season also got divorced. Back to our game.
Your turn. A Jew and an Asian walk into a bar.
And then they had me. Jules Weinstein or something like that.
You're right.
New York.
Oh, Cassidy, the fact that you even finish a tagline is insane.
It's what I do. That's how much I love a tagline. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
I'm a survivor. No one is bringing me down.
I don't know. I'm a survivor. No one is bringing me down. I am a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give up.
Is that your guess?
Is
that your final answer? Beyonce, Real Housewives of Houston.
Beyonce Knowles, Houston housewife.
Is that your final guess? Do you want a hint?
No, I want that as my final guess.
Okay, that's gonna be an eh. It is. I'll give you a hint, but you don't get a point for it. She's the worst. No, her husband's the worst.
Her husband is the worst. There's so many of them.
I'm a survivor. What did you just say? No one is bringing me down.
Siggy? I hate her.
Amber Marchese.
Oh god, that's what goes along with the twins. I didn't really watch Jersey that much during that because I hated the cast so much.
Sorry, are you even a Housewife fan? I'm looking for a new co-host at Reality Wind Down who actually watches the Housewife franchise.
Sorry, I have taste, and that season was horrible.
I enjoyed it. All right, next one for me.
Cassidy, you have 3 questions left.
And 3 lifelines left.
And 3 lifelines. You can never be too young, too thin, or too honest.
I for sure recognize this. Oh my god, and now I'm blanking, of course.
We have those 3 hints.
You too young, too thin, or too on. Oh, Joyce.
In my world, money doesn't talk. It swears.
You could never be too young, too thin, or too honest.
Is that some something?
Gerard, yeah.
Gerard or something.
Yeah.
Joyce from OC. Or Beverly Hills, sorry.
From OC.
Whatever, Joyce. California.
Actually, I don't like Joyce. I was kind of hoping for her to have a second season. She didn't do much, but I thought she was cool.
Has the best hair of any housewife ever.
Yeah.
I will stand by that until the day I die. Okay, are you ready? In my world, money doesn't talk, it swears. You should get this one.
I'm never going to get it. I blank. I don't know how to do anything.
I don't know how to do anything at all. I don't know how to speak. What
Guys,
is
y'all
it?
can see that I shut down completely during these things.
Do you have a guess?
Do I have another lifeline or no? I used them all.
I mean, we'll give him the soundbite.
In my world, money doesn't talk. It swears.
She's a Wiccan.
She is a Wiccan.
I don't know her
She's
name.
a Wiccan.
I literally was watching her house be sold $1 million listing this season.
Yeah, because she got divorced too.
She's called a witch. I stand by that.
Would you like to just give up?
Caroline, Kathy.
You're close!
Kathy. Carol.
No matter how many times you say Kathy or Caroline, that's still not her name, but you are close. It's Carlton.
Oh, Carlton Jebba.
Yes. There you go.
Damn it.
There you go.
Okay, well, it's your turn.
No,
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Hate me because I'm here to stay. Claudia from Atlanta.
Cool, what's her last name?
Jordan.
Okay, cool.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Hate me because I'm
She had those
nasty.
bunions on her feet. Do you remember that? Her feet
Yeah.
were real janky. It was a moment. Okay. Soccer moms drive minivans, but this girl drives a Bentley. You hate me so much. The look he just gave me.
I hate it so much. Since I'm gonna lose anyway, can we just hear the tagline?
Yeah, let's...
Soccer moms drive minivans, but this girl drives a Bentley.
And the gunshot is so bad. Oh my god, the gunshot.
It's that.
at the end.
I remember her. She's OC, obviously, because that's OC.
OC
noise.
because there's a gunshot, so
Yeah.
we know it's OC.
I remember her. She was so lame. She's blonde. What's her name?
Peggy Tanis.
Peggy Tanis. I have everything I ever wanted.
And it's all in my own terms? Is that how it goes?
Yes.
I think I know it. I think I want to try to get through it without using a hint. Is it Cindy Barshop? Is it?
I literally am so pissed.
You still have one more.
Great.
I'm a ball and gala girl. It's my legacy and my calling.
Cool.
I'm a ball and gala girl. It's my legacy and my calling.
I've never heard that voice in my goddamn life.
Yes, you have, and she's so chaotic.
Give me another hint. Just give me hints. I already lost.
She's in Potomac.
Oh, is it
Her name's
Charisse?
Katie.
She was definitely on 2 seasons, by the way.
No, she wasn't. She was only a housewife on 1.
Cool. Well, she appeared on 2 seasons.
7-1, I would call that a landslide. Hey, Chase,
Okay.
it was fun playing with you. I'm back on my bullshit, and that
Cheers
was
to
good.
that. I'm going to forget this ever happened.
Cheers, and I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life.
So, on a lighter note, you want to talk about Dallas?
Let's talk about Dallas.
Let's get into the housewives.
We pick back up at the pool party.
Yep.
With Tiffany and Brandy talking. Tiffany talks more about the racism she's experienced, and she's like, it's not even like from my past and my childhood. I experienced it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Treating a patient. They came in and said, I want a doctor who doesn't have coronavirus, which simply because she's Asian, which is like, when she said that, I was like, that's so disgusting, but it does not surprise me that there are assholes out there like that.
No, not at all. I mean, with this whole pandemic, I think we've really seen...
Some people's true colors have truly shined
so...
through. And she says in her interview, like, the time has come for Asian people, Black people, all people to stand up. Like, it's 2020 America. We can do better.
Yes.
And I was just like, President Tiffany, Dr. Tiffany for, like, 2028. Like, run, please. We are voting for you.
I see that on a poster. I'm like, I'm ready.
100%.
You remember those posters that they would have outside of, like, the nurse's office that was, like the monkey hanging off a tree, and it was like, you can do it.
Yes.
So that is like, imagine
stars.
like Tiffany standing there, and it's like, it's 2020. We can do better.
Exactly. And I'm like, I am voting for her all day, every day. We are team Tiffany Moon. So Tiffany and Brandy wrap up their conversation, and Tiffany says, I don't believe that Brandy has racist values, but what she did was not okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how they end that. And they go back inside, and everyone's asking, like, how'd it go out there? How'd it go out there with you two? And Tiffany says it was kind of cathartic. And Cam was like, what does that mean? And I saw someone asked her online, like, stop trying to be a dumb blonde, blah, blah, blah. And she responded and was like, I went to art school and majored in photography. I genuinely didn't know what it meant. Like, I don't pretend to be stupid.
I do think she plays it up, because I remember her first season on the show. She definitely was like, take me seriously. I'm not just a girl in Dallas that's just about money, just married my husband for money.
Yeah.
I'm serious. But she did make funny, like, comments throughout the season. I think she realized people were more into the funny quips.
Yeah.
So her whole personality now is a funny quip.
If that's the case, like, I'm kind of here for it.
No, I'm not mad at it.
I love it. I love her and Court's relationship. I think
Not mad
it's
at it.
hilarious. Like, I am, like, very much... It's entertaining. It's
No, that's what
almost
I'm
like
saying. I'm not mad at it, but I do think she's playing it up for camera, which I'm fine with. I'm not mad at it.
I get that to an extent, but even in the next scene, she's walking with, like, they put their house up for sale, her in Court.
Well, hold on. Just that exchange made me laugh. So she says, what's cathartic? And Tiffany says, like a cleanse.
Uh-huh.
And Cam goes, I love a cleanse. I love a spa.
Like, I love a
It was
spa.
just,
Like,
how she said it, I was like, okay.
girl, not the same. She's, like, sitting there chowing down on her food, and we're just like, Cam.
I just had to say, because it was like, I was like, okay.
No, that was funny.
Fair.
I agree. But that's even, like, she had another funny moment whenever her and Court were, like, putting the house up for sale and they're walking. And he's kind of saying, we have another offer that came in on the house. It's kind of a lowball offer. I don't even want to talk to you about it because last time some of this happened, you couldn't emotionally handle it and you were in bed for like 2 weeks. Yeah. And they kind of talk about it. She's like, I want to be taken seriously and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, I just want to protect you from like the bad stuff. And she's like robbers, and like tell me when a natural disaster is coming and like run from a hurricane or whatever. And like, I was like, that was like kind of funny.
I was like, rich people problems. I love it.
Yeah.
I was just like, during that walk, I was like, all I could pay attention to was the flashes to Fancy, just like
Fancy
running
like,
around.
She picked up like bushes at one point and was walking with it. I was like, go on, Fancy.
I was like, yeah, you and Cam have this talk, but like, Fancy, I want to see what you're up
we
to.
stand Fancy.
I'm obsessed with her, and then like, she's just so fluffy.
We're obsessed with Fancy, and then in the next scene we get Deandra and her shaman, who is like sucking the nostril out of her, like sucking the snot out of her nostril. Like he got up in there, and I was like, whoo! And all I was thinking when I hear shaman, I think of Jax and his Reiki master on Vanderpump Rules, and I was like, is this the same? But I do feel like he cracked into some really deep stuff with Deandra.
I didn't want to bring up COVID this episode, and this is the only thing I'll bring up about it.
Okay.
This was filmed during COVID, and she was getting snot blown out or blown in or whatever into her nostril.
You know
Isn't that the most anti-COVID thing
was
ever?
Sucking it out of her nose.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's had it a few times. He's doing it with all his patients. Like, he is not COVID free.
No, I mean, so okay, that's all I'm gonna say about it. But I was just like watching that. I was like, ugh.
Well, Deandra has like a very serious conversation there, and she's talking about how. I didn't know any of this. I don't know if you did, but that her father had gone on and remarried and they had adopted a son.
I did not.
And a huge legal battle ensued whenever her father died because he left 2 wills. And she says, I ended up winning this, but it tore the family apart.
I did chuckle a little bit because she was like saying this like really deep thing. She's like, well, I did win.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course Deandra
That's what,
won.
like, and people were like really coming at her on Twitter.
Really?
Like, well, like,
for what?
Just saying like, you are probably a lot older than this brother that they adopted. And then, like, you went after the wife and the son for all they had. And it kind of made it sound like she ended up with everything when her and Mama D were probably already okay and fine. But she's saying that she went after them and, like, got the money that was left.
Well, I was also kind of thinking, I was like, if she got all this money, say she won it, why did she need $100,000 from Mama D to do her business? I was like, she couldn't have gotten that much money.
Well, what did Mama D say? She said, I don't want to give you money in the first place because you spend every dime you get.
So she may have already spent it all.
So,
I mean, it was in 2004.
But they also talk about this trust all the time. And I really thought last season that the trust was depleted by the way Mama D was handling it. Clearly it's not. Clearly, like, it is still there. She's giving her money.
The trust is from Mama D's second husband.
Okay, I did not know that. Mine genuinely blown. I did not know that at all.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that changes things then. That's very interesting. So, like, do you have a will?
No. I never even thought about it, honestly.
I think, like, most people only worry about wills, like, when they have children or a lot of money. And we don't have either.
And I was about to say, I was like, you can have this mic that we're speaking into, and you can have my one shoe from ASOS that's cost $30.
And your Taco Bell hot sauce collection, which could be the currency of the future.
Okay, honestly, we do talk about this a lot. I have 2 bags full of Taco Bell hot sauce, not to ball myself out here. And Cassie always jokes that, like, when the world actually does fall apart, Taco Bell sauce may be currency.
He's gonna start trading it for like goods and other things.
It only motivates me to keep more and
okay,
more.
And I also I always roast you for this so hard, but I'm genuinely down to like 3 mild sauce packets, and I prefer hot because we haven't gotten Taco Bell in like 2. I was gonna say so long. It's been 2 weeks, but usually my Taco Bell stash is also fine, and I am out of sauces now, so I might start having to trade odd favors with you from some of those sauces.
$1 per packet, baby.
Well, next up we head into Dr. Tiffany's house.
Stunning house.
Like when she went down into the wine cellar and they had that like where they dug into the earth behind glass, I was like, that is like goals. Can I pack my bag and like move there
I just
now?
love that Deandra compared it to the Louvre.
Which, I mean, they have the similar, I guess, whatever. I mean, I've been there.
Just like, oh, in Dallas? All right.
All right, go on. But she showed the whole tour of her house to Stephanie and Deandra. And did you notice whenever she was showing her diplomas that her name's Tiffany Sun Moon?
I love that.
I love that too. I didn't know her middle name was
Yeah.
Sun, or maybe her maiden name, or I don't know.
I feel like maiden name, probably.
Yeah, Tiffany Sun Moon. I was
Either
like,
way,
I
awesome.
love that's like
I
the
love
coolest
that.
name ever. But Stephanie was kind of shading her a little bit for showing off her closet and stuff.
See, in the context, like in that moment, I was like, okay, it does seem a little flashy because she was going through all of her purses.
Okay.
But I truly thought she just was like, oh, these girls love designer things. Let's talk about it. Can we just go into the tweets on...
Well, first off, there's also, like, Stephanie did a closet tour last year with Bravo.com showing off everything in her closet.
Well, that was the tweet.
So there's that. Exactly. So, okay, Twitter, if you follow us on our Instagram, like, or our Twitter, we've been retweeting everything going on with the Dallas Housewives. Like, Twitter fingers have been off.
Flying.
Like, off the charts. It's been
and
insane.
one of them was, like, Stephanie made that confessional comment about, like, oh, it's tacky or whatever to talk about stuff in your closet, blah, blah. Tiffany was like, oh, that's funny because here is your closet tour.
Like, how about that? Like, how about you literally just did this?
Yeah. At the same time, it's like, we are watching Housewives. We're watching for kind of like that rich lifestyle, and she was giving it to us. How can we be mad about it?
Do you feel like, and I love Stephanie, but do you feel like she's feeling a little threatened that she's not the richest bitch on the block anymore? Because Stephanie and
That's
they're
valid.
rich. Like,
No,
they're
but
rich, but Tiffany is rich,
Moon's
rich,
husband,
rich.
like, he is like a real estate investor. They own like a chain of like
Sam Moon. I've been there.
The jealousy factor could come into play for sure.
I think could be a valid point for sure. Tiffany sits down with the girls and they're all drinking, having their charcuterie board, and she's talking about
very
how,
keto friendly.
Very keto. Just take the crackers off. They're talking about how Carrie was acting at the last party, how she was trying to get everyone to take shots on shots on shots. And Tiffany was like, I almost felt like I was being bullied, like, back in middle school. And, like, Stephanie and Deandra kind of came to Carrie's defense and were like, no, she literally just, like, wants everyone to get wasted and wants to shove shots down everyone's throat. And Tiffany was kind of like, I guess the way I have fun and the way she has fun are a little bit different.
And that's fair, but I didn't really see it as bullying.
No, I think bullying's a strong word for it.
But I do see where it's like, hey, if someone says no, then no's no.
Exactly.
You know? By the way, why didn't they show those after party shots? Like Stephanie's late night party shots.
Like that, like the after party. That looks like the fun part of the party.
Not the shots, the film. That was
No!
like the after shots.
I was like, I didn't
film
catch
of
that.
the party.
I
Like,
know.
I don't understand why they didn't do that. It looked fun. They were all swimming. They were all in the pool.
That looks like the fun part.
This is where the alleged pressuring was. So, like, why didn't we see that?
Well, it wasn't even alleged pressuring. We saw it happening
that's true.
in
It
the
was pressuring.
flashback.
But why didn't we get more of that?
I agree.
confused.
That's a good point. Next up, we cut to Carrie and our new favorite Dallas housewife.
Olivia,
our little baby Olivia, who is an icon instantly, came on the scene, and she's been back from college in LA for a little while, and she's just like, the hardest thing about coming back here is, like, I'm so passionate with all of my friends back in LA about Black Lives Matter, and you go to a party here, you're in a group chat with people here back in Dallas, and they're just saying offensive stuff left and right.
Yeah. She's like the girl, any girl that kind of just like stops being friends with their high school friends and, like, you know, finds other people.
Like, that has to happen. Like, either you do that or you do, like, you do that or you don't.
No, it's
grow.
great. Like, I'm complimenting. It's like, she's the person that's like gotten out of her little bubble, saw and met new people.
She's the us in this situation.
That's I'm complimenting her.
But no, it's true.
And
like, you
it's just
experience
opening your
other
eyes.
things. You experience other people's lives and other people's cultures and other people, what they go through, and then you have a greater understanding for what the world's like.
Yeah, that everyone's valuable, everyone has their story, and it's all worth it. And she comes back to Dallas and she's like, wait, I'm hanging out with my old friends and they're
assholes.
Have not evolved past it. And then we go over to Deandra's house and we see hot hubby and her
I'm sorry.
talking about sex.
It was big Kelly Dodd vibes for me.
Ooh, what do you mean? Oh, the sex talk?
I gotta change a light bulb to have sex with her and
like,
blah, 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 blah. And it was just like, I want to get into your light bulb. And I was like, is this Kelly Dodd and Rick Leventhal laying in bed right now?
I think it's always a problem when housewives and their husbands talk about sex on camera. It's a reach. It's always reaching.
When you're trying to be like overtly sexual, like, look how happy and sexual we are. It's like,
and I even complimented Deandra about that, like, the first episode. But now it's the second episode doing it. I'm like, okay, I'm over it already.
We get it. You guys bang. Like, it's cool. We don't
Everyone has sex. Awesome. Thank you.
We don't need the dirty deets. But they just kind of talk, and she opens up more about the stuff she's dealing with, that she's talking to her shaman about. And then we head into the dim sum, as Cam called it. She kept saying dim sum. And Court was like, you're saying the second word
like,
weird.
it's so wrong.
I just like the way they, like, I don't know, I just like their banter and the way they talk, whether it's fake or whether it's put on for the show. It's entertaining to me. They are headed to the dim sum that Tiffany set up. And she said, I want to show these people my culture and I want to give them a little taste of where I'm from and my background. So she gets to the dim sum restaurant to, talk to the owner, help set it up a bit. It's like the coolest, biggest Lazy Susan I've ever seen in my life. The owner says this is the biggest Lazy Susan in Dallas. I mean,
I believe it.
I was going to say all the food. Most of the food looked incredible. I was like, I would kill for that right now.
I know, have you ever been to dim sum before?
I have. This is what me and Jules were talking about, so we were watching it together. And he was like, I've been to dim sum plenty of times. I was like, okay, bitch, when? Like, not with me.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, but like back in London, I used to do it all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, how have I never done dim sum?
I've never done it here, but when I was back in New York, my friend Adrian loved dim sum, and my first time ever going was with her. And it was really cool. We went to like one of those like huge, it was literally like a banquet hall. Like, I'm not even kidding. It was massive.
Yeah.
I'd never seen something bigger. It's like you go into this building and it's in New York, so you assume everything's going to be small.
Is it when like they're pushing the carts around and you pick what you want? Okay.
So you go up, you walk into this building, you go up an elevator and it just opens up and it's this huge room.
Right.
And there's all these circle tables, kind of like hers, but it was like just in a big banquet hall. And carts everywhere.
Oh, that
and
sounds
it's
like
just
a dream.
so cool. They're literally just passing you by and you're like, yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes. And you just pile it on your table. And it's such a fun social activity because everyone's trying new things. I'd never gone.
Yeah.
So she was introducing me to new foods, new things. And it's kind of like, try this, try that. And it usually comes in like fours. So it's never overwhelming.
Like enough and even to like share
it's
with
just
someone
such
else.
it was really fun. Like we do need to do that here because
Well,
it's
speaking
just,
of,
it's a fun
did you
experience.
try a chicken foot when you were doing it?
I don't know. I feel like I would have though.
So you're not opposed to the chicken
No,
foot?
I don't know if I would like it, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Do you think that Tiffany was being a little bit aggressive pushing the chicken foot
I think she
down
was
everyone's
aggressive
throat?
about it, but also I think Cam was also a little bit too like against it.
See, okay, because I know me and like I can get like very sick if I try one thing that doesn't sit right with me. I think Cam said like I don't do scales, I don't do tails, I don't do eyeballs, I don't do bones. Like I'm that bad. Like I won't even eat a chicken wing. Like I have to have the chicken pulled off of it.
And you know I'm a chicken wing fanatic.
I know.
So like
but it's just the fact when she said you put the foot in and then you have to spit the bones out. That's what's if it had been like bone free and like just looked like I probably would have taken a little bite.
That was a little shocking.
That was probably the craziest part.
But knowing myself, I don't know if I would like it, but I would definitely try it.
In between the chicken foot and the dim sum, Carrie was being a real asshole to Deandra about, because Deandra came in not feeling well. She's like, I've been COVID tested, I'm negative. And she kind of was just like roasting her for it. And then we get into a bit of banter between Deandra and Carrie in the interviews, kind of going back and forth about how apparently they'd gone on the road together pre-COVID and they were like selling jewelry and they just did not sound like they were getting along. It was very
Carrie was coming at Deandra way too hard,
Carrie,
I thought.
that's her problem. She doesn't know when to stop.
No, and she thinks it's all in good fun, but it's like, you know what, sometimes at a certain point, you start to take that stuff personally.
Well, she even said a line like, when you get really sick, no one's going to believe you. And now knowing what we know, like Deandra actually having COVID and being sick, like I would hope Carrie would feel bad about saying that. But Carrie got on Twitter, going back to our Twitter Dallas stuff, she was having no remorse. She was on there tweeting up a storm. And her and Tiffany really got into it on Twitter, which I think was a bit surprising to us because it didn't seem that, like, hardcore between them.
Something has to keep happening in the season because, like you said, we're bringing up the tweets again.
The feud
because
is
they were
strong
so
between
intense.
these two.
And, like, Tiffany's really coming at them hard and, like, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand necessarily why.
Yeah.
But I want to know why.
On Twitter, Carrie calls Tiffany a snake. And, like, basically, she sends her a, like, screenshot or, like, a link to the snake necklace that she has in her collection, like, Carrie Brittingham jewelry. And it's, like, a $1,400 necklace.
Oh, my God.
And Tiffany responds with a screenshot of the donation she's made to the Dallas SPCA for $1,400. She's
Amazing.
like, I'd rather it go towards the animals than like buy your necklace
That I would never wear or something like that. Or never be caught dead in, something like that. It was
an ugly ass snake necklace, I have to say.
It was. And the shade of both of them are kind of funny.
It's like, it's getting good. I'm excited to see how the rest of the drama plays out with them because something is clearly happening.
Yeah, I've seen some people be like, Dallas needs this Twitter drama because otherwise people wouldn't watch.
And it's been a good season so far. Like, these first couple episodes I've enjoyed. But
yeah, and I think Tiffany is the energy we need.
100%. She has come in to, I wouldn't say save Dallas because, like, we still enjoyed it before. But she's come in to really...
she adds some energy
energize. She's rejuvenating Dallas.
Yes, there you go. I think that's good. And that was Dallas for the week.
Yes.
You ready to get into a little Salt Lake City?
Let's get icy.
I love that.
I love that. I love that, as Lisa Barlow would say.
And I hate it so much, but I love saying it. I love that.
I love that. Okay, so we kick things off, and Seth is bringing Meredith a flower in bed and, like, kisses her like she just woke up. And I am so sorry to say this. It just seems so fake to me.
Oh my God, I'm so happy you said that.
Okay,
I was
you
about
agree?
to say no, I agree 1,000%. I'm so happy you said that because that was all I was thinking the entire scene.
It's literally like, morning, babe, I brought you your flower and your coffee. And she's like, and then they kiss, and it's like, and like elongated, like 15-second kiss. And I was like, why?
I think it invalidates the whole storyline of her entire season where she's like, we were separated, we are here, now we're rekindled and we're
So
loved.
was she like
Gross.
reaching for a storyline in this whole thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my favorite part about
They can't
it...
act, unlike me, Stella Adler
No.
alum.
So what is Stella?
Stella Adler, an actor.
I'm sorry, you're a Stella Adler alum? What is
No,
that?
it's an acting school in New York.
Oh my god. How many films did you appear in?
I love that.
That was the whole film. My favorite part in the opening, they had this weird music going that was like, huh, huh, huh. And I was loving that. It was like very dark and weird. But then it shows Henry, Lisa's son, trying to set her on fire. He's like a sage. And he's like, let's sage this house. And like runs at her like to like light her sweater on fire. And I was like, oh my god, I love that
Sage
kid.
the house that has no furniture.
Henry is,
right?
oh my god, you really are coming for Miss Lisa right here.
I love that.
I mean, you really are. And it cuts to Jen next on a more serious note. And she's talking about how Sharif hasn't been home in days since his party. And she's really emotional. And she's very upset. And she's embarrassed because she was so excited to throw in this big party. And the way it ended, she's not proud of.
Then Whitney and Heather meet.
Whitney and Heather meet.
To discuss, the party as well.
So this kind of whole episode for the first... I would say 35 to 40 minutes at least, was just like recapping the party.
I understand the recap, but it makes for a filler episode because it's like, we already saw this fight. We don't need a recap. And if you're not bringing any new information to the table, what's the point of the recap?
And also everyone like is giving their recap, but like spinning it the way they saw it. It's Lisa talking to her husband about it. And she says, and she's just bashing Whitney and her dancing. And she says, like, in Utah, girls are good at two things, breeding and dancing and getting married young.
It was so annoying. She said that her dancing was inappropriate.
I mean...
Was it? I'm sorry,
it wasn't.
It
was inappropriate, but I do think that Whitney wants to be the center of attention. Because she's young.
That's different than inappropriate, though.
No, I think because she said, like, because other people's husbands were there. No, she didn't have, like,
okay. Whitney wasn't trying to fuck other guys.
Trying to hook up with someone's husband.
Yes.
No, I don't think that inappropriate's the right word. After that, we head to the most chaotic place on the entire planet, Miss Mary's closet.
Oh, my gosh.
I... literally, like, when I see it, like, I break out in hives. It stresses me out so bad.
I need her to get out of that closet. I don't want to see it again. I am stressed about it.
She literally says, oh my god, my closet is like my baby. Like, I'm thinking, like, she has like a 20,000 square foot house. Like, keep that in mind. I'm thinking of getting a entire apartment just to, like, house all of my clothes. Like, she is the prime example of even Louis Vuitton makes mistakes. She wears the ugliest shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the closet's not even nice.
It's like a bedroom.
It's disorganized.
That's like, yeah, I mean, poor Charlinda.
Oh, like Charlinda just pops out of goddamn nowhere.
Like, oh my god, can you imagine trying to keep that closet organized whenever it's so unorganized in itself?
And why is Charlinda in scrubs?
That's a good, I mean, you know that Mary probably makes her put them on, and like she doesn't even acknowledge
But that's
that like
my
she's her
problem,
cousin.
because like she's in those scrubs, and then Mary's asking her to like zip up her designer clothes. I'm like, this picture is just so fucked up.
With the church money that she's taking in people's like collections, people's last dime that she's convincing them to give to the church, that she's taking them and going and spending it and has no guilty conscience about it, whatever. Like, it is disgusting to me.
But she does call Whitney in the scene, so that's like the thing.
No, Whitney calls her,
or Whitney
right?
calls her, but that's like the thing that's like big out of this, I think.
And Whitney calls her to say, I just want to let you know, at the party I brought up what you told me that Lisa and Meredith said to you about them being afraid of Jen, and they denied it, and a huge fight broke out. And even Mary, which I was very surprised about, said in her confessional, Whitney should not have brought it to her at the party. And I think that's...
She was like, even I wouldn't have done that.
Even I, and she doesn't even like Jen, wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a valid point. Whitney was so out of line bringing it at the party. Jen's reaction was piss poor, but I'm sorry. If you get your husband back for the first time in 4 or 5 months, and you throw him a big party, and then someone brings you information like that at a party, it's not cool.
Okay, this is where I think we're going to start disagreeing.
Yes.
Whitney was wrong for bringing it up at the party.
Yes.
But all the information she brought up seems to be true.
So you believe that Meredith and Lisa had a conversation with Mary and said, we're terrified of Jen.
I don't think... yes, that they had the conversation. I don't think they said they're terrified of Jen. I think that they say, I am worried anything I say, Jen's going to freak out.
Right. So that's twisting it, though. Because saying you're scared of someone...
Whitney didn't twist it. She said that they were scared of Jen, which is... it's terrified, scared, I guess are similar. But, like, whenever you're scared to say something to someone, it's not that wild to say.
I think saying you're scared of someone and saying you're like you don't want to tell someone something because they're gonna freak out afterwards are two different things. And at the end of the day, like, I'm not saying I dislike Whitney, but at the end of the day, it just was not her place to bring up in the first place. If she wanted to have a private meal with Jen and discuss it that way. We'll get into this in a minute because we have to kind of bring up that Meredith and Lisa went to dinner with their husbands, and Meredith announces they're back together with another long fake kiss and like the awkwardness of the whole.
Can we talk about how Meredith looked stunning and her husband looked like shit?
I mean, he rolled up in a hoodie and she was like green goddess. Like, to the nines outfit. But I will say, like, I'll dress up nice to go somewhere, and like getting like your partner to dress nice sometimes, like, straight men, it's hard.
Well, even Lisa's husband, who I thought only owned one shirt throughout the entire season.
Like that old Navy shirt with like one pocket.
Yeah, I thought he only had one shirt, and he even put on a suit jacket. And this is a guy that says that he's been trying to win his hot-ass wife back.
Proof it's fake. Proof it's fake.
There you go. That's all I want to say.
They leaned in and kissed for another 15 seconds at the dinner, and I was like, oh my god, it's just so fake. Like, I don't know. I'm not into it.
I just went into it.
But after that, Whitney and Heather put together a little plan to get Jen out into the middle of nowhere and take her to a spa. And I guess Jen accepts the invitation, but she's like, I am only going if it's like 24 karat gold face masks. Heather and Whitney get there first, and they walk in, which, by the way, they had the cutest dogs in there with like a little quilted outfit on. And I was like, oh my god, I would die for both of these dogs. And Jen rolls up, and she is not happy to be there, to say the least.
No, this is not a Jen Shaw spa.
This is not a Jen spa.
Exactly.
I
mean, when they were driving up, I was like, oh my god, the scenery is so stunning. It's so beautiful. This is amazing. And they pull up, I was like, this is amazing. I honestly would have liked it.
It was gorgeous. I don't know if I'd be that thrilled about getting in the tub when it's like freezing out and sitting out there. I'm more of like a hot springs girl. Like, I would get into
it was a hot spring.
Yeah, but these tubs, like, I get that it was like probably not for me, but it was just so funny to see like Jen Shaw get in like Versace head to toe.
That fur she was wearing,
like the whole thing, even the Versace slides. But
I do for a second have to go back to the dog.
Yes,
I immediately thought of your mom's dog Mia.
Oh, the chihuahua and her little.
I was like, this is what Mia's life like. What is like just looking out of the shirt with her like little tongue hanging out.
Oh my god! I can't believe I didn't notice that. It does look like Mia.
It was just like Mia. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Mia.
Shout out Queen Mia.
I feel like that is what her life is like just being carried around.
That's how she likes it.
Yeah, but then going back to them getting into the spa.
They get into the water, and their plan was Jen cannot escape. We can keep her here in these tubs. She can't get up and run away.
Honestly, a great plan.
Honestly, a great plan until they get into the conversation about the party. And Whitney is kind of saying, I genuinely don't believe that I need to apologize. I brought you this, like, information. I felt like you need to know this information. That's it. And Jen's like, how do you think they're bringing it at my husband's party that I called you personally and told you I was so excited about? Cuts into a flashback that we've never seen of Jen talking to Whitney like, I'm so excited to have Sharif home after like 5 months. I really can't wait to do this for him. He's never had a birthday party like this. I'm very excited. That to me is what gave me even more of like a Whitney did it at the wrong time.
Yes. And I was even saying, like, watching that, I was like, Whitney, just apologize. Just apologize. Tell her this was wrong timing. And then express what you're thinking. Like, you have to at least acknowledge that was poor timing.
100%.
That was the least that you could do.
And she was sticking to her guns so...
too hard.
Way too hard. And Heather was like mediator sitting in the middle. And she was just like... She gave me like the Nene vibes when she said, I am tired. I am really tired. Yeah. Like, you could tell she was just sitting like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I just didn't like that Heather was like, no, it was my fault. It was my fault. I was like, no, Heather, it wasn't your fault.
I think Heather Whitney just comes from a moment where she like always is like used to taking like the blame for things. She's like, I'll take the blame for this if we all can just apologize and move on. Yeah. It's like, it was not to do with you, Heather, really.
No, but then we get Jen getting pissed naturally from this conversation. Splashes a camera.
She has shown that she has some anger problems.
Yeah. And that's just a whole nother subject, I think, because like that's just apparent.
Yes.
So she shows that again, splashes it on the camera and the cameraman. And the producer's like, why would you splash the camera? She's like, what do you expect? I'm laying in a tub and you're filming me. So she gets out, breaks the fourth wall, walks through production, like exits, refuses to film, and Whitney and Heather are kind of just like sitting there, and Heather's like, hey, just apologize for your part.
It's more than just apologize for your part. Like, she's calling her out, like, no, Whitney, you did it at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of, like, fucked up here.
Yeah.
So.
And she did, so...
She said you need to have more empathy, is what she said.
Yes.
Like,
and I do think Whitney does. She just is, like, not... She thinks that...
What makes you think that Whitney has empathy for her in this situation, though, when Jen's having a breakdown and clearly dealing with a lot? What makes you think that Whitney's having any empathy?
Because she is thinking by telling her that she has bad friendships, she's doing something for her. I'm taking poor timing aside. Poor timing is not a part of it. Whitney thinks by telling her that her friends are saying that they're scared of her is helping her. Because she doesn't want other people to be talking about her behind her back. Okay.
I think that... I just think Whitney's getting herself into a real mess because... She's, like, the one to go to Meredith and be like, Jen's saying this about you. And she's the one now to come to Jen and say, Meredith's saying this about you. So I know the old phrase, don't shoot the messenger, but Whitney's really tangling herself into all of this a bit too much for my liking. And I think that's where I have the issue. And I know you're saying, like, timing aside, but I guess that's just such a big thing to me that I can't even put that aside. You know what I mean? Like, that just is such, like, it was just such bad timing that
But can you say that Jen also has a responsibility to keep herself in check?
I think Jen 100%, but I think whenever you've been drinking and you're dealing with a bit of depression, you're dealing with some sadness in yourself, I think that you can fly off the handle easier, and I think you can overreact to things more.
Yeah, for sure.
And in that situation, I would go to lunch the next day, we're having a one-on-one, hey, just want to let you know Mary Cosby told me this.
But question, do you think Jen would have not freaked out if she even went to a private lunch?
I think Jen would have probably freaked out at a private lunch, but it wouldn't have been in front of her husband, who she hadn't seen, who she was really looking forward to seeing that night, and her sons. And the fact that she wasn't accepting responsibility in that hot tub until Heather was like, look, you need to apologize. You were wrong, and she needs to apologize.
I was like, and when Jen did, she did. She got in the hot tub, she hugged her, she's like, I really didn't mean to ruin your night. I just wanted to let you know.
It's probably like a half-assed makeup, but...
Yeah, it was, because even Jen was like, I believe her apology, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna, like, move on right away.
Right. After that, we go to the coolest place on the planet, Blue Sky Yurt, which I desperately want to go to. Lisa is hosting a tequila tasting for her and Meredith and a bunch of other affluent women in the Salt Lake community.
See, so I love the setting, and I love, like,
I could live there.
You know, that's remember I sent you that thing that I want to go to that is a yurt dining experience in Austen?
Yes, I've been looking at that, and I really want to go to that.
That's what it made me think of.
Yeah.
But the dinner itself was the fakest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, just all the women being like, you
such a social climber. I'm sorry. She's like, these are my real friends. These are, like, I love it. I love that, and I love this yurt, and I love them. And I'm like, girl, you don't know them, like, at all. And I was just like, it's annoying because she's trying to use this as shade against, like, Whitney and Heather. And I was just like, the setting is great.
The setting was amazing.
But the people there are not showing us anything.
No,
and it was such a filler scene for Vida Tequila.
It was a filler scene for Vida Tequila, but that yurt was everything.
Oh, yeah. I'll give the yurt everything.
The yurt and the food, I was, like, there for that. But it ends with Sharif comes back home, and Jen just really breaks down to him and is like, I've been dealing with so much depression, and I've been holding on to this anger towards you when my dad died, and you weren't there. You weren't even at the funeral. And I think, from a viewer's perspective at least, it was the first time we were seeing Jen be totally authentic with Sharif, and Sharif hearing it, and instead of getting defensive and being like, well, no, you shouldn't have acted like that still, he just, like, heard it, and he was like, I'm so sorry, like, I'm gonna make a better effort, which I was like, Sharif was, like, a really good man. You could tell he really loves her. They've been together for a really long time, and it's an authentic relationship, and I think that she just never knew how to express that to him.
I agree. I thought she was very vulnerable and very truthful with her feelings, and it's kind of stuff she's alluded to in her confessionals the entire season, but never had come out and said to him, especially. And it was great to see something so raw be played out. I did think Sharif was originally coming in to be like, you were embarrassing this party, and then she kind of, like, said it all, and he was like, oh shit, this is deep, like, this is real. I am gonna step back and be like, okay, this party was a problem, but she's also going through some shit.
I know, I'm like getting emotional again talking about it. Like, because it was really, really like sweet and raw and vulnerable, and it was.
And it kind of just shows it's like everyone on social media is kind of being like, Jen's too much, Jen too much. Which is annoying because everyone's always saying whenever someone's boring, they want more. So I'm like, okay, what do you want, Housewives fans?
Would you trade Jen Shaw for Teddy Mellencamp?
Fuck no.
Exactly. So we've got to give Jen some credit.
Yeah.
You would rather have the person coming in. Because would we have any of this drama without Jen this season?
No.
Yeah, so we got to give her credit where
So
it's
it's
due.
like people hating on her, like, boisterous personality is like...
She even retweeted that tweet that said, like, y'all are always wanting more from Housewives. And then Jen Shaw comes in giving you the most.
She's
and
like, exactly.
people want to bitch about it, so.
That was Salt Lake this week.
That was Salt Lake, yeah.
I liked it.
I did too.
It was fun. I really enjoy a snowy setting for drama. I don't know why, but I'm so into it.
Especially when it's like cold out. I like a seasonal like matching.
Yeah, like have a fire on and we see these girls in the snow. I'm like, it's perfect.
I agree. Ba-ba-dee!
Ba-ba-doo-doo-doo. It's easy as a 1, 2, 3.
And the bees and the skis. Let's get a Southern Charm.
The bees and the skis? Are they skiing? Are they skiing?
No, the birds and the bees and the 1, 2, 3s. You started with numbers. No, you threw me.
You said skis.
Let's go skiing in Southern Charm.
Well, I love Southern Charm, so let's get into Southern Charm. But I did love this episode, I will say.
The episode, I feel like, was setting us up for a bomb finale.
Yes, so they are angling this as a 2-part season finale. This was part 1. But no, I was happy that they did a dramatic bye-bye, and they recapped the whole season with like a very drawn out,
because it really
black
was
and white, like very like slow and dramatic scene.
It was a heavy season though, so I mean it was almost valid that that's how they went about it.
It was a heavy season, and Craig's the narrator.
Yeah, that's also true. I mean, he is no Cameron when it comes to narrating.
No, it was just funny because he was in like, and I was on.
I love.
QVC?
Okay, I have to say, I know that these people live in the South now. Like you did the country accent with Cam earlier. Craig is from Delaware, and I love that you just. And I only say this because they were like playing like binge episodes of Southern Charm earlier, and I was watching it, and they went back to Delaware, and I was like, I forget that Craig is like a Northerner. Like he doesn't have a Southern. Because sometimes I think he plays on the Southern drawl. Sometimes.
Yeah, he always wanted to be a Southern boy. Well, I did
want
want to say that
line on that note.
we see Whitney and Patricia, and I was going to say that they seem like they're going to be Grey Gardens real soon.
Are they not already Grey Gardens?
They were both on an iPad, and she was like, how do I work a message? And Whitney was like...
Every time you do a country accent, I'm pouring more wine into
okay,
both
guys,
of us.
okay, I'm getting more wine. I hope y'all can hear that.
Ooh, the ding. Winnie's not just going to be living with her. He's going to be hanging upside down in her closet and coming out to feed on the children at night. I think Craig said that once. Craig was like, Whitney doesn't see the light of day. He just sleeps upside down in Patricia's closet and comes out from time to time. And I think about that every time I see Whitney now. I'm like, oh my God.
With that
it's
leathery
funny.
skin, I would believe it. Anyways, off that... we get to see Pringle with his sons. They're leaving for the summer. Well, actually, they were with him for the summer, and they're gonna leave, which is sad. He is a human now, Cassie. I'll give him that.
I forgot that we did humanize Pringle, as
Yeah.
Chase established in last week's episode.
I see him as a human now. He has children. He raised them right for 42 days. He's good.
Oh my God, the shade is... I mean, I can't even see the light right now. It's so shady in this room.
Well, I think someone close to me, across from me, said
I don't even know what I said.
if Pringle wants to be in their lives, wouldn't he just move back to San Diego?
Which is also true. He said, like, this is the best choice we could have made for, like, their future. But, and, like, fair, if that's the truth. That's totally, I understand that. But
what is he doing in Charleston
yeah, I don't
that he
see
can't
that he,
do
like,
in San Diego?
has a job or is doing anything back in Charleston. Like, I
And
feel
if
like
he is, like, that's great, but we just haven't seen it.
Yeah,
So I don't really
that's-
know.
It's like he just moved back to, like, pursue
Reality
Madison
TV.
and reality TV.
Which is fine, but you just can't have the storyline. I wish I was with my kids, and you're choosing to be on reality TV.
Fair.
And then we get to Madison and Austen, the most healthy relationship I've ever seen on TV.
The healthiest relationship I've ever seen. If you're looking for a model relationship, head to Austen and Madison.
I was just surprised, like, right off the bat, like, within 10 minutes of the episode, Madison comes over and just walks into Austen's house, and he's like, okay. I'm like, what are we doing? We just had this last episode where they were fighting like crazy.
It's like she wants to give him so much like crap and be like, leave me alone, I don't want to be around you, don't talk to me. Then she just waltzes up at his house, and Austen even says, what are you doing here?
But he always has this like weird grinny smile where he's so into it.
Oh, I mean, he's 100% into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had a very toxic conversation once again, as they do. Yeah.
Do I want to watch this anymore? No.
No, just let it go. Let the mouse go, as Sutton would
Yeah.
say.
But I will say, Madison, that gold confessional look is stunning.
Oh, it's like bone apple tea.
Like, that
great.
was, because I think during that fight, they panned to that, and I was like, okay, well, one redeeming factor is that outfit.
Oh, I mean, they look amazing.
Yeah.
She looks great.
But, actually, hold on. One thing I do remember from this scene is she said that Austen, she's never liked someone as much as she's liked Austen.
I don't even remember that.
Isn't that wild?
I think that's fair. I mean, but she was married and had a son with someone else, but I don't know how she loved Austen more. Like, not to be like outright shady about it. But I think that's just because that's like, I don't even feel like she was ever that into Austen.
I didn't think so either. I don't understand where this whole like love story is coming from. They didn't
Really?
really like each other that much.
He was her whole passion in life. But
But we do go to that house for vacation.
yes, we are gonna like skip a few bits. We did have Natalie and Craig going out on a canoe.
Oh, we did. They saw a baby alligator.
Seeing the baby gator, and you know that Natalie was on Love Connection, that show that Andy Cohen hosted for like a minute on
What?
Fox.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't think she like found anyone. Well, maybe she like went on a date with someone, but clearly,
Well, I mean, she ended up with Craig,
yeah.
so.
I mean, clearly she ended up with Craig, so clearly that didn't work out.
I did love the flashback scene of, like, Naomi being like, all you do is sit home and sew.
You sew and pretend to do things, which is just like so ironic. Again, that Craig like gives Austen and Madison so much crap when he literally, if someone had said that to him about Madison, I mean about Naomi, he would have lost it.
Yeah, he would have gone crazy.
Absolutely.
So it's like, Craig thinks that he's, like, the wisdom guy of relationships. And
Yes.
it's like, dude, you were this, like, for, like, 3 seasons.
Exactly. Like you say, we head to the sick house. That
Yeah, so Pringle's hosting, so it's, like, a family friend's house, and it's actually stunning. It's huge.
I mean, it's gorgeous.
It's, like, such, like, South Carolina house. It's huge. It's on the water.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing. And everyone's invited. It's obviously, like, the finale cast trip kind of thing. And everyone's there. And Leva's kind of just, you know, trying to call people out a little bit.
Well, she's saying to Shep, why are you okay with Katherine coming still? Whenever I don't feel like she's kind of admitted to anything or apologized to any of us. But early in the episode, Katherine did say, the only person I feel like I need to apologize to is the person I sent the emoji to and was offensive to. And I've already apologized to her. I don't see why I need to apologize to anyone else. Which is problematic in itself. Like, Katherine is not good at taking accountability for anything she's ever done.
No, she's really not.
Like, she is very much on her high horse, thinking that she's done what she needed to do by apologizing to this one girl that she was a complete piece of shit to. Shep, on the other hand, when talking to Leva, is like, well, I made that video of that homeless woman, which was awful, and I
Yeah, it
grew
was
from
horrible.
it. But on the flip side, Leva was like, I'm not saying cancel Katherine, I'm not saying cancel culture, I don't believe in that, but she has not apologized to any of us once again.
Yeah.
She's not owning it, she's not coming out, she's not making a statement, she's not... Katherine, the best thing she could have done is, and if she genuinely is sorry and genuinely feels like she's made a mistake, because we don't want it if it's BS.
Mm-hmm.
If she genuinely feels sorry and that she's done something wrong, she needs to make a public apology, go to each person in her circle that she knows that she could have possibly offended and have a conversation with them. Kind of like Tiffany and Brandy had the conversation at the beginning of Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, Tiffany came out of it with, okay, I'm glad I finally got to sit down with her. I don't think she's got racist values, but I
need to have that conversation.
I need to have that conversation because what she did was not okay.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, kind of what Leva was looking for closure in this. Because not that you can have closure on racism, but, you know, to have Katherine accountability to move on.
Yeah.
And she's just not done that. And then something else comes up at the end of this, which I think is going to be addressed more in the actual finale, that apparently Katherine within these messages said to the girl, like, do you even know who your father is? Like, way crazier things than we ever knew.
seen. Like, that hasn't been shown yet.
Yeah,
so.
I haven't, and I mean, I hope they show these messages.
Yeah,
and
I
put
want to
them
see it
out there.
all.
Because it's like, I don't know how Katherine stays on the show if she said these types of things.
Yeah, that's why I want to see it. I want to see the rest of the messages.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's already didn't start off great. And if it's gotten worse, I want to see it.
And I know we have a finale next week, but I'm not sure how much closure we'll get on, like, I don't know how much of a conversation that Katherine's willing to have with Leva. I will be curious to see at the finale when you're sat down, you can't get up and run away. An actual conversation go down between them.
You see in the little brief clip that they gave us as the teaser for next episode, you do see Katherine cry. So that leads me to assume that they sit her down and say stuff to her, and she actually has to sit there and take it.
Right.
Because like the beach picnic of last episode, Katherine was there, but she wasn't feeling any emotions. So to see her feel emotions could be a good thing, that they're all getting to her, expressing themselves, and maybe she's listening finally.
Exactly. So. And that's what we'll see next week.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all the Southern Charm this week, and I'm very much looking forward to a lot of questions being answered next week.
Yes,
in the
so I think we do have a lot of questions. There was a lot of stuff brought up.
Yes.
And I do think there's some unanswered questions, some revelations that were brought forward.
Some confrontations that need to actually be had.
Yes, and that has to do with Katherine.
Yes.
So that's Southern Charm.
That's Southern Charm, and that's this week's episode of the Reality Wind Down.
I will say, whenever on the top I say, have a glass of wine with us, maybe don't have a bottle like I did this week.
Maybe not have 2.5 bottles like we've had, but...
So we're just having fun. We're drinking our rosé. So if you're going to join us, join us.
Yes. And on that note, we are going to cut Chase off and say cheers. See you next week.
Good night.